Hello everyone, welcome back to this video. In this video, we are going to learn a very important application of prefix sums which is called as range updates. So let's get started. This is the problem that we will be tackling. Let's go ahead and read it. It says corporate flight bookings. So there are n flights that are labeled from 1 to n, and you are given an array of flight bookings where bookings of I is in the format of first, last, comma seats, and it represents a booking for flights first through last, with seats I, seats reserved for each flight in that particular range. And we have to return an array answer of length n where answer I is the total number of seats reserved for flight I. Let's take an example. In the example 1, we are given n equals to 5. So let's say we have 5 flights, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now booking 1 says that in flight 1 till flight 2, book 10 tickets. So generally in corporate bookings, a lot of these bookings happen in bulk, and that's what we are dealing with here. And next, the booking 2 tells that from flight 2 to flight 3, book 20 flights, book 20 seats. And the third booking is between flight 2 to flight 5, and we want to book 25 seats, right? And finally, we want to tell how many seats were booked in total. 55, 45, 25 and 25. And this is the output that we need to provide. Now, if we think of the brute force method, we can easily think that for each booking, let's say I have an array of bookings which represent the total number of flight bookings in all my flights. Currently, everything is 0. Now, my booking 1 comes and it says to book flight between 1 to 2 and 10. What I can do, I can simply write a for loop between my first to last flight, and I can do, let's say this is called as TS, which is total seats. I can say TS I plus equals to my seats in that particular booking, right? What will be the time complexity of this particular solution? So one booking can have it can have order of n number of flights, right? We can always say that go ahead and book from flight number 1 till flight number n. So we can have order n number of flights that we want to book for. And there can be order of n number of bookings as well. So if we look at the bookings length, n is between 1 to 2 into 10 to the power 4. A number of bookings can also be 2 into 10 to the power 4. So if we try to apply this solution, we can easily see that it will be around 4 into 10 to the power 8, which will not be optimal. So we need to think something better. How can we update this particular array in a fast way? Pause the video for a bit, think about it on your own, and then resume again. So this can be done using a technique called as range updates. You can only apply this technique to make your algorithm fast when you need to query your final total number of bookings at the last. Your problem should not be like you are also doing range updates as well as you are doing range queries as well. So it should not be like you are first doing some number of bookings. Let's say you are doing some first, last, and number of bookings I, and then you are also asking for this particular flight how many bookings were done. For this, if the problem is something like this, then this method won't be beneficial. It is only beneficial only and only if we need to at the final stage tell how many bookings were done for each flights. Only at the last stage, how many flight bookings are done. And you will actually understand why am I saying this. So here's how the algorithm goes. Let's take this example. Initially, the number of bookings for all the flights is 0. And one more thing that we will do here, we will initialize the array one length more. So this is just to make the implementation easier. So if there are n flights, I will be initializing n plus 1 zeros. And this is for a very simple detail which can make the implementation easier. It's not necessary to do this. The first booking comes and the first booking says that go ahead and book for, let's say, 1,3 and there are 10 flights. What you can do here is, let's first label all our elements. So we want to book from this particular flight to this particular flight, 1, 2, 3. What we will do a plus 10 on this index and we will do a minus 10 on this index. Now get an intuition of why are we doing this. So after we do this, let's say there was only one booking, just try to take a prefix sum of this particular operation. What this will produce, the first element will have 0. What is the prefix sum? Now it's 10. For 2, it's also 10. For 3, it's also 10. But for 4, because we did a minus 10, we are offsetting that 10 that we introduced here. And for 5 also, it will be 0. So it's a very intelligent way of updating this particular range that you wanted to update here. And you are able to update any range by just doing 2 operations. You do the first operation at the first index and you do this minus operation at last plus 1 index, so that the effect remains between first and last. Because at the last you will be taking a prefix sum of this entire array that you have created. And that is pretty awesome, right? Because you are doing only 2 operations per query. It's order 1 per query and you just need to do a prefix sum which will be order n in the last. So effectively, you have reduced the complexity from order of n square to order of n. And that is pretty awesome in this case, right? So let's just quickly try to do a dry run here and see how this is working out. Our bookings come and we want to book 10 numbers of flight for 1 and 2. What we will do? We will do a plus 10 here and a minus 10 here. Next, one more booking come and it tells me to book between 2 and 3 and go ahead and book 20 flights. I do a plus 20 here and a minus 20 here, right? And then we want to go ahead and book between 2 and 5. And as I told you, like, we can take one more element for implementation purposes. Let's take one more 6. So between 2 and 5, we need to add plus 25. So one more 25 will be added and on 6 minus 25 will be done. And then you will take a prefix sum. First we'll have 10, then this will have 30 plus 25, 10 plus 20 plus 25, 55. This will have 45, this will have 25, and again 25, and finally 6 will have 0. And this is exactly what our final answer is. Now let's try to implement this solution. First of all, we will initialize our answer array, and we have been given like the number of flights is n, and then we can iterate over my length of bookings, the number of bookings that we have. So what is my first flight slot, right? We can write it's booking of I, 0. What is my last of x? This will also be bookings of I, 1. And how many flights we want to book? Let's call it num, and it will be bookings of I, 2. Now what we want to do, first we will add to my first slot the total number of flights that we need to book. And one more thing that we need to take care, let's convert everything to 0 indexed. So we can say that first step minus equals to 1. Also my last f is minus equals to 1, right? And after we have done this, we can do a check. If my last f is less than, that is not my last element, then only I will go ahead and do the minus operation, or else my operation will go out of the array, right? We do this, and in the last we have to do a prefix sum, and we can safely return this. So we will be iterating from 1 to n, and then we are doing answer I plus equals to answer I minus 1. And we can safely return this answer. Let's try to see if this works or not. Okay, so the syntax is correct and everything looks good here. Let's try to submit this. Okay, so this works. So in this video, you learned a very awesome technique called range updates. Thank you for watching this. See you in the next video. Keep coding.